Hello and welcome back to another episode of Vikings Happy Hour, sponsored by Lake Monster Brewing, Eastside Jiu-Jitsu, and That's Badass Wood Art. Remember to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Training camp, just a few days away. The Viking season will take off, and we are joined today, ladies and gentlemen, by someone who's just, your name has been everywhere the last few weeks. It's Josh Metellus. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me, first off. But
Absolutely.
like you said, my name has been everywhere. Good things, though. I mean, all publicity is good publicity.
I don't know if you saw the article recently, but Alec Lewis from The Athletic, he released an article with a bunch of NFL analysts and actually called you the breakout candidate for the Vikings this year. Did you hear about that?
I seen that. Yeah, my agent sent that to me.
Let's go. Are you excited?
Of course I am. I think this is gonna be a big year for me. I think I keep telling everybody, like my close family, my wife, just everybody around me, that this is gonna be the best year of football I played in my life. I got that feeling right after I got over the Giants game and grieved that a little bit. I started working out again. I got a feeling, and I just feel like this is gonna be a good year.
You put on strong performances last year too. Like your first start, obviously that game-winning interception versus the Lions, the block punt versus the Giants. And I don't know if you knew this either, but in the 3 games you started last year, according to PFF, you were the 3rd best coverage safety and the 4th best safety overall in just those 3 games. So you give yourself an opportunity and you crushed it. So what was the offseason like for you? Obviously, you mentioned the Giants game and grieving that, which we as fans also did, but I can't imagine what that was like for you as well. But what was your offseason like to get ready for this year?
Yeah, I would say that first month of the offseason, I was definitely finding myself in a hole, just because the game, the way that, the season ended off, especially, team wise and individual wise, I just felt like I could have did a lot more to help the team. So, it sucked to see us go out that way. It didn't feel real, for a while. But I would say once I started getting back into it, I just found my motivation and, just looking at it like it's my contract year. If this isn't enough motivation for you, I don't know what else can motivate you. So, I just been grinding. I've been doing a lot of different things, a lot of Pilates, a lot of yoga. Trying to center my core, center my mind. And then I've been running a lot, trying to be as conditioned as possible because now that my role is jumped on defense, I'm obviously still, want to contribute on special teams because, I think that's a big phase of the game that most people don't realize. So I plan on, playing on special teams as well as playing on defense. So I had to get my conditioning up. So that's been the main focus. And then, just spending quality family time. Me and my wife are going on 2 years being married, and then my son just turned 2 in April. So, it's just been a lot of big milestones, just enjoying life, getting back into the grind, getting excited for the season, which is, our favorite part of the year.
Absolutely.
Josh, where do you spend your off seasons? Have you been spending them in Minnesota, or you?
So this is the first off season we spent it in Minnesota.
Okay.
It being a contract year, we thought it would be good to just be around, here as much as possible. You never know what the future holds. Obviously, we want to be back here, but if we're not, it's good to say we spent some good quality time out here. It's in the middle. I'm from Florida. My wife's from California, so it's in the middle for both of us. So it was just easy. We have a house out here, so it was just easy to stay out here and feel comfortable. Still be around the facility as much as possible. Be around the staff and whatever players were here. So I think it was a good choice we made to stay here this offseason.
You talked about it being a contract year. Has there been any discussions around an extension with the Vikings?
Yeah, my agent. We talked earlier before OTAs. We talked to the front office, and mainly the situation is just trying to figure out what my role will be. Obviously, the stuff I've done on special teams in the past 3 years, definitely holds a lot of weight. And it can either be a situation where I get paid as a special teams player, but in my eyes, I want to get paid to play defense. That's what I came into this league to do. And so it's kind of like figuring out what my role is going to be, whatever position I fall into, and then those kind of things get ramped back up.
That's great. Can you expand a little bit on that role in defense? Because a lot of people throw a lot of things out there of like so many like buzzwords of what positions look like in defenses nowadays, and like the start. Of course, my dog's got so,
You're good. It's all good.
Go ahead, Matt. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah. I think what Miles was going to get at is obviously with Brian Flores coming into the mix here.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard in recent interviews with you and yourself, you're kind of learning multiple positions,
Yeah.
right? Linebacker, safety. And so kind of take us behind the scenes of like what it's like to learn all of that. And then maybe for the fans, what all goes into that.
Well, and real quick, let me jump back real quick.
Yeah.
I'm back. And so, well, like the position that people love to tout is they call it the star position.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the kind of guy that's the hybrid safety, linebacker, nickel. Like maybe kind of to finish up with Matt's question into like B-Flow's defense and kind of where you might fit. People have thrown out that word, the star position for you too. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that as well.
Yeah. So I would say it's crazy. Me and my wife was talking about this. I would say I'm just a football player. So like I even like joked around that they should change my position on the roster to just football player or athlete because like at the end of the day, like if I'm on the field, then I'm gonna find a way to make an impact. And I think the coaches understand that, especially just watching my tape throughout the past years. So I think my position is kind of a get in where they need me to fit in kind of position, because we play different teams. Everybody has different schemes and different way they approach the game. So, it's going to be where, where can I fit in to help a immediate impact that week, whether that's at linebacker, whether that's at nickel, whether that's at safety, it's going to be a lot of moving parts, keeping teams on their heels, not really knowing what's going on. But I'm excited for it. I think it's definitely has to do a lot with who we're playing, what kind of personnel we want to use. But they have me everywhere, and I would say learning wise, for me, it's kind of easy because I consider myself, one of those guys who are like obsessed with the game. And if they didn't tell me to learn every position after I mastered safety, I was planning on doing that anyways. Learning what the linebackers are doing, learning what the corners, the nickels, the D line. Just because, once you learn everybody's job, it makes the game a lot easier, especially at safety because we're a lot of we're the ones who make things right if somebody else messes up. And it's easier to do that when you know what they were supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. So I think, just learning the whole defense in general just, was going to help me out. And, now that they're telling me to do it, it just helps a lot.
How difficult has that been, though? So this is obviously you're heading into your 4th season here, and this is your 3rd defensive scheme in the last 3 years. Is that that's a lot of learning to go on? And then this year, obviously throwing in linebacker and nickel as well. Has that been a hard adjustment?
Yeah, I would say just the thing I think with me, my first 3 years in the league, I didn't necessarily get the reps. So my a lot of my reps came mentally. So, taking in those schemes were different, but like going into this offseason, like, I got probably top reps on the team in OTAs and minicamp. So, I was able to, take those reps and use that in a positive way for me. So I think just being able to do those things before the actual, September 10th comes is going to help a lot. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all stuff that, I've done before, just, in a different spot. I'm just lining up in a different place. So I would say the nickel stuff, I played nickel in the game last year. The year before that, I played nickel in the game. So that stuff, I'm comfortable with. The linebacker stuff, obviously once the pads get on, I'm going to really understand, what that feels like, what it feels like to be in the box. But I would say, it's just a learning experience. I mean, I like it like that because football is always a learning experience. You're never going to have 100% grasp of anything. So I'm looking forward to this season, and seeing what I can produce out there.
Before we look ahead to, the upcoming season, I wanted to ask you, what your thoughts were at the end of last season. So Brian O'Neill goes down, your team nominates you as sort of that, interim captain. What was that like for you?
It was amazing. It was amazing. I would say, that's the top 5 feelings I've ever felt in my life. It's crazy too. Before, when they were counting up the votes, my body just got a chill throughout my whole body, before he even said my name, like I just knew, like I knew it was my time. And I would say, just being able to, get voted, almost unanimously by a team, where, I'm a guy playing 20 snaps at most a game, so I'm not even out there. So, for my presence to be felt in the locker room without me even playing, I think that holds a lot of weight, at least for me. I feel like that means I'm impacting the team in a positive way. I don't have to be out there, to be a leader. And, I'm hoping that, now that I am out there, I can lead even better, and they can see my true nature. Because I think, the way I play definitely tells a lot about, the type of person I am and the type of leader I am. So, I would say that's one of the best feelings I felt. I hope to get it again this year, and, be the captain the whole year. That's a goal I always have in mind. That's the number one thing on my goal board is to be a captain every year. So, I take that, I take that to heart, in a positive way. I think that's a big honor, you get, and people don't, appreciate it as much as we do, but I appreciate it a lot.
That's awesome.
Every locker room has like different types of leaders. Like you got the quiet leaders that kind of lead by example. You got the rah guys that like to, so you got some that like get into people's faces. They like to be that type. What type of leader do you like view yourself as?
I would say I'm a vocal leader. I'm the type of guy that holds everybody accountable. If you said like you were going to do this on this rep and you didn't, I won't be scared to come by you and tap you and say, yo, like you said you got me, like what's up, like kind of leader. I also lead by example too. I'm very particular when it comes to going about my work and going about getting ready for games and going about practice in general. I don't skip reps. I'm doing it right. If I got to do another rep, I'm gonna do another rep. So I think just the way I approach the game, I think in itself just helps me be a leader. And I'm the oldest of 6 kids. I've always been that kind of leader in the household. So it was kind of easy to transition once I started playing team sports. And I think every team I played on, I at least been a captain at least 1 year. So I think it's just something that's in you. I can be the lead by example guy, the vocal guy. I remember it was a time earlier in last year, I got into Brian Asamoah's face and we were going at it during the game. And, coach had to pull us apart, kind of thing, but that's just the type of guy I want to win. I'm a competitor and, people feel that and they gravitate towards that.
That's great. So you got the necklace, you got the 44 necklace.
Yes, sir.
Is that always going to be your number now? Is that kind of
like I think I finally embraced it. Last year I tried to change numbers, didn't work. Rookie ended up coming in and taking the number, but it's all good.
What number are you looking at?
I don't even want to get into it. I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I tried to switch numbers. Ended up didn't work. And I honestly thought it was a sign. My wife loves this number anyways. There's an angel number 444 that we gravitate towards so much. We both have it tattooed on us on our neck on the same side. So it kind of just fits. Just the type of mold I am. I think as long as I'm a Viking, I will wear a 44. If I go to another team, I'm gonna try to get it. If I can't, then we'll see what's available. But I'm obsessed with the number now. I think I never really got to choose a number growing up, except for like Little League when I was like 9, 10. So I think every number I had, I made my number. So I think being called 4-4 Bulldog by the team, I think that holds a lot of weight. People love it. I love it. My wife loves it. So I'm obsessed with the number.
I was wondering if that number 4, since that number 4 kind of came open recently, I was like, I wonder, you never know. I
can't even do 4 like that. I gotta. In my eyes, I think we should let it breathe for a year.
I got
let it breathe for a year. He was a big part of the locker room. I can't even imagine somebody else wearing it.
For sure. One more question. Back to like
ahead.
your like position in the defense and kind of being the jack of all trades. Kind of reminds me of your former teammate in Michigan, Jabril Peppers, at New England. I was curious if like he's someone maybe you've talked to about like kind of being that jack of all trades type of player, and if maybe he's someone you could like learn from or even just like get notes from on kind of being that do it all guy.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. So I played with him in college, and I was playing safety the entire year. And Jabril, being the guy he didn't have a backup because he played everything. So, like, he didn't have a backup.
Right.
So, like, halfway through the year, the coaches were like, yeah, like, if something happens to Jabril, like, we're kind of screwed. So they threw me in. It's like, you just follow his footsteps. He was the first guy I met when I first went on my visit, stay with him. So like we already had that connection. And so, just being, following in his footsteps, understanding why he does what he does, I think helped a lot in my transition into the league. And yeah, I mean, I think the stuff he does in New England is not very similar to what we're gonna do, but it's obviously he's playing different roles. He's in the box, he's back deep at safety, he's in the slot. So I think he's definitely a resource I can use at any time. Especially if I start to get overwhelmed and stuff like that, because he just signed another contract. So he obviously is taking that role and and ran with it. So he's definitely a guy I would reach out to and getting closer to the season, once I figure out what my exact role will be, and ask some questions.
Speaking about this season, obviously there's a few different ways we can go here, but let's start with, how has it been with the addition of Brian Flores as defensive coordinator? What have you noticed different heading into this year?
So I would say, we had Mike Zimmer and then Ed Donatel. The experience in those two guys, you can feel. And it's kind of crazy, like, Brian Flores isn't as old as those guys, but, you still feel the experience spill out of him, especially when he talks the game. And I think, just having him in the locker room and just picking his brain and just, listening to the things he says, just makes you a better football player. I would say he definitely knows what he's doing. I love the aggressive by nature mindset that he has, because that's the type of guy I am. So, I think, he fits very well with what this team and just the culture we're building in this organization. I think he fits well into that. And I think, a lot of people are going to realize very soon that the Vikings aren't here to play around. Whatever they thought we put on tape last year, it's a whole new year. It's a whole new team. And, I think, people are going to be surprised by the way we play this year.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, the kids are home.
Just got home. He looked at me, looked at the screen, and was like, "Hold
up." So what is the overall vibe? Obviously training camp, you guys are going to find your own identity here in the next, couple months. But what is the vibe in TCO Performance Center right now? Is it?
It's really good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think there has been a better vibe. I know it's crazy. You hear, like, you go through the off season. We let go of a lot of guys who were key part of the team.
Yeah.
And the way the culture was. But I think the impact that they left, just transcended into what we're building now. Guys like EK and Adam Thielen, I've been with for 3 years. So everything they taught me, everything I've just watched, it's on me. So I'm able to give that to guys who weren't around when they were around. So, same thing with Fuller, everybody, So I think, just having those guys being like, having those key guys, you still got Harrison, you got Kirk. So, having those, older guys, we still, we lean on CJ Ham, those guys, but then still being able to bring in new guys who buying into the culture and buying into the organization. I think we're really building something special. I think Kwesi and KO know the type of guys they're looking for, and they're doing a great job of bringing those guys into the locker room.
That's awesome. I got one more.
Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
I'll do one more question, then Miles can round it out here. If you had to pick, obviously not yourself because you have high aspirations for yourself, but if you had to pick one guy on defense that we should be, looking for to kind of break out this year, who would you call out on your squad?
I would say Caleb Evans.
Okay.
I think especially the way his year ended last year. He's definitely hungry, and he's definitely looking to put his stamp on the league. I think he has great size. He loves the game. He's very smart. So I think the stuff he's going to be able to do, especially stepping into a bigger role. Finding his place. I think he's going to be one of those guys. You look back at the end of the season, like, yeah, we needed him to play the way he did. I just got I got faith in our corners. I think Byron definitely is a key to what we're going to be able to do, and his experience is going to bleed into our younger corners. So I'm definitely excited for our young corner group.
Perfect.
That's
Miles?
awesome. My question is more offensive related. So like you obviously every day in practice get to go against arguably, maybe the best weapons in the league, or like one of the top weapons in the league.
Just talking about that.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson, but also not just JJ though, like KJ Osborne, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Kirk Cousins. Like, how is it from a defensive standpoint as you prepare for the season and going to training camp and things? Like going up against those guys every day, how's that help prepare you for
I was just so me and my wife literally before we got on this, we're talking about how I was watching the video of George Kittle and I was just watching the way he was running routes, trying to get a little mental jump, and it's just crazy. We get like getting ready for the season. We get the best of the best. I think Kirk, JJ, and TJ are all top at their positions. So, to be able to have that and practice against that every day, you have no choice but to get better. You go down the schedule and you look at who we're playing, guys like Travis Kelce and George Kittle, I would want to go against TJ to get me ready for that. You go against receivers, I could name a long list of receivers we play, but we got Justin Jefferson. There's no better than that you can get. So, I think, and then Kirk can make every throw on the field, smartest guy I've met playing football so far. So, having guys like that, around you, they just make each other better. And I think, having our defense take a step forward this year is going to help them get better as well. So I think, it's all about competition. I think we built a very competitive roster. KO will talk about that once we get started. Like, the goal is to get all 90 guys on the roster to play on the team at some point. Obviously you can't be on this team because you only get 53, but we have built our roster to such where everybody has a chance to play football this year. So I think, we make each other better, and, we're very competitive, and we had a lot of really good guys. So that's going to definitely show when it's time to play.
That's great.
I lied. I guess I do have one more question, only because Miles brought up Kirk Cousins. Have you watched the Netflix documentary?
Obsessed with it. We haven't finished it, but we've been falling asleep to it every night. I think it's so cool. I think I'm obviously a big fan of Patrick Mahomes.
Oh no, we lost him.
Big fan of Kirk. And just to see those guys on a daily basis, see what the stuff they go through. I think I think quarterback is the hardest position on the field too. So I definitely been watching. I think it's great. Definitely shows you Kirk's true colors.
Yeah,
and, he's a great guy, man. You love guys like him on your team. I always ride for Captain Kirk. So it's just good to see everything shake out, see his point of view from things last year, and I think he's due for a really big year.
I think it's
you catching your residuals from that.
Say it again.
You catching your residuals from that? Being in it, I'm sure they showed you.
Yeah. I was in it a couple times so far. Yeah. I thought I'd have a little more FaceTime on there, but it's all good. It's crazy. We went through the whole season and didn't even know he was getting filmed.
Bro,
really?
For real?
Didn't even know.
That's wild.
Didn't even know. I literally sit next to Kirk almost every day at breakfast. Didn't even know. I'm like,
bro, that's wild.
When they filmed this, okay, I guess they did.
All last year.
Crazy. Crazy. Wild. I guess there's always cameras around, so you never know.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you again for hopping on. Hopefully, maybe later on this season or training camp, whatever, we can get you on again and just
I'd love to, man.
touch base on how
I like the conversation. It didn't even feel like an interview. It felt like we were just talking.
That's what we want here at Vikings
Happy
exactly Hour.
What we want. Yeah.
So we're rooting for you this year. Obviously, a contract year. So go ball out, and we'll catch you on the other side.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you guys.
Yes. For everybody else watching, thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe. Go root on Josh Metellus this year and the Minnesota Vikings.
Jerseys. We gotta get some 4-4 jerseys.
Come on.
Let's go. Let's go get the jerseys.
Get it before it's too late.
Right.
Exactly. Get it before it's too late.
Until next time, everybody, Skol Vikings.